If I ask you who Adam's wife is, most of you will answer with Eve, but you might not have heard about the woman before Eve. This is Lilith, who some call Adam's wife before Eve. Where is this mentioned? Keep watching as we dive into the different aspects. Let us first discuss the name Lilith. The Hebrew word Lilith is mentioned in the Bible only once in Isaiah 34 verse 14. Lilith is a Hebrew singular feminine noun whose meaning has been lost to time. Researchers believed it to be related to the word lily and lilitu, which is an Akkadian word meaning spirits, and the Sumerian word lilu, which means evening, coming to the conclusion that Lilith is a night spirit, like a succubus. This, however, is just one interpretation. Now, where else is Lilith discussed? In the 12th tablet of the Epic of Gilgamesh, an earliest surviving poem of Mesopotamia, there is a weird word that is seen, Kisikil-li-lake, which is translated as Lilith. Kisikil-li-lake is a creature in the poem associated with two other creatures, a zoo bird and a serpent. In Gilgamesh, a god named Inanna has a garden in Uruk where she plants a hulupu or willow tree, whose wood she plans to use after it has grown. After 10 years, the tree has grown, but when she comes to harvest the tree, it is occupied by a serpent at the base, a zoo bird living at the top with its young, and Kisikil-li-lake in the trunk. Gilgamesh was ordered by Inanna to get rid of them. Gilgamesh killed the serpent, making the zoo bird flee with its children, while Kisikil-li-lake burnt his house and ran to the forest. Though Kisikil-li-lake was translated as Lilith, it was later rejected on textual grounds, as in Epic of Gilgamesh, Kisikil-li-lake lived in a tree alongside snakes and the zoo bird, while in Isaiah 34 verse 14, Lilith lives in desolate areas alongside jackals, goats, and satyrs. As mentioned earlier, the word Lilith only appears once in the Hebrew Bible. It is mentioned in connection to a prophecy about Edom, an ancient kingdom in Transjordan. Quoting from Isaiah 34 verse 12, "Her nobles shall be no more, nor shall kings be proclaimed there. Her princes are gone. Her castle shall be overgrown with thorns, her fortresses with thistle and briers. She shall become an abode for jackals and haunts for ostriches. Wild cats shall meet with the desert beasts. Wild goats shall call to one another. There shall the Lilith repose and find for herself a place to rest." In the 14th verse, we get introduced to the word Lilith. Scholars suggested that Lilith was a demon of the night, deriving this meaning from Mesopotamian words such as lily. However, interestingly, modern scholars have deviated from this thought. Why is that? Because looking at the scriptures, you can easily see that the mentioned creatures alongside Lilith are all normal, hinting that Lilith may also be a desert creature whose meaning was lost to time. However, her myth still remains strong. Hope you're enjoying the video. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Now let's continue. In the Greek version of the Bible, a new meaning is made from the translation. This meaning is more in line with a demonic and mythological concept. The author translates both the reference to Lilith and the word for jackals into Greek as onokentauros. Now, onokentauros are creatures with the lower body of a donkey and the upper body of a human, and apparently assumed them as referring to the same creatures. The author also omitted wild cats or wild beasts of the desert. So instead of wild cats or desert beasts meeting with the jackals or island beasts, it is a goat or satyr crying to his fellow Lilith, resting there. The goat or satyr is translated as demonia, meaning demons, and the jackals or island beasts become a half man and half donkey, meeting each other and crying one to the other, with the latter resting there. Now the Greek interpretation changed the words altogether, adding Greek mythology into the mix. Now moving on. In Latin, the word Lilith is replaced with another new word, and that is Lamia. The translation of the Latin version is, "And the demons shall meet with the monsters, and one hairy one shall cry out to another. There the Lamia has lain down and found rest for herself." Now what is this Lamia? In earlier stories, Lamia was the beautiful queen of ancient Libya, who had an affair with Zeus. Zeus's wife Hera, learning about this, kidnapped Lamia's children born from the affair and killed them, driving Lamia insane. In vengeance and despair, she started to snatch up any children she could find and devour them. Because of her cruel acts, her physical appearance became monstrous, with her upper body being human, while her lower body became that of a snake. So in the Latin Bible, Lilith is again interpreted as another demon. In the English versions, I say this because there are many versions in English as well. One version, by Wycliffe's Bible, preserves the Latin translation Lamia. Another version, the Bishop's Bible of Matthew Parker, also interprets the Latin Lamia. Douay Rheims' Bible also preserves the Latin rendering Lamia. The change comes in the Geneva Bible of William Whittingham, who interpreted it from the Hebrew text as a screech owl. The King James Version also interprets it as the screech owl. Now where is the thought of Lilith being the first wife of Adam rooted from? Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 states, "So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created he male and female, created he them." Then in Genesis 2:22 it states, "And from the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man, he made into a woman, and brought her to the man." Jews interpreted these two verses as different, coming down to the conclusion that woman was created two times. First in Genesis 1:27, out of clay just like Adam, this being Lilith. Lilith, created from her own clay, desired her own freedom. She wasn't bound to Adam, so she escaped the Garden of Eden. The later folklore goes to say she eloped with the archangel Samael and became a demoness. The second time woman was created, it was by using Adam's rib, and this was Eve, who was subservient to Adam. Now, as we all know from previous discussions, the Bible doesn't have a single author. It has many authors, and each version of the Bible was spliced into one. Now, Genesis has at least two authors, which can be distinguished by the name they use for God: Elohim in verse 1 and Yahweh in verse 2. Therefore, according to some, there are two versions of the same creation story. Hence, the world was created two times in Genesis. The Jews were not aware of this fact. Hence, from 300 CE to 1000 CE, they misinterpreted Genesis 1:27 and 2:22 and thought woman was created two times, when in actuality, it is the same story but having different versions. Hence, Lilith the myth was born to be Adam's first wife. Due to the Bible being translated into different languages, words like Lilith's actual meaning are not known, with different interpretation being a demon, on centaurs, screech owl, and even the wife of Adam. However, modern researchers for now have come to the conclusion of it being a desert creature, like the ones mentioned alongside it. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Also leave your questions and thoughts below. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.